Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of CCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to try to give you 5 reasons why I think you should be interested in the UniVersus collectible card game, whether it's your first card game that you're trying to get into or whether you're coming from my other community in the Flesh and Blood community. Hopefully I can give you some objective viewpoints on why I think you should be interested and, get you a little bit interested into a new game. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. Feel free to check out my other videos. I do a lot of Flesh and Blood content on here. It's what I'm mostly known for. But this year, I really want to try to get the channel more into just all the games I play and actually be what the channel is, which is TCG Talk, which is funny. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, please check out my other stuff. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. We'll get right into it. So yeah, I want to do a couple of videos here on different card games that I play. I play, just a little background, a lot of Flesh and Blood, obviously, a lot of Grand Archive, a lot of Alpha Clash, UniVersus, and I've even started on Star Wars Unlimited, played a lot of card games, and I like to buy into a lot of card games. So for me, it's really important to try to give people like objective and also general opinions that make sense on why I think you would like certain card games, right? So hopefully these make sense. Please let me know in the comments down below if you have something that I missed or if you liked or didn't like the content. It'd be really great. But yeah, the first reason for me for the UniVersus collectible card game, if you're looking this up, is the mechanics. The mechanics of this game are unlike any major trading card game on the market right now, right? Usually when you see some of these new card games that have came up in the last couple of years, they somewhat resemble a certain card game, whatever that card game may be. They may have elements of Pokemon, elements of Magic, elements of whatever. There's been very few card games that have really revolutionized the way general mechanics of the game are that also gain popularity, right? UniVersus has been around forever. It's been around for a long time, longer than most people even know. But the card game really has its own set of mechanics very similar to a fighting game. Now, I'll go more in depth on another video if you would like on how these mechanics work. So I'm going to try to kind of hit the wave tops on this one. But basically, you have cards that are called foundations, like you see here with Fast Friendship and Botan's Coaching, that are in your hand. And they act similar to lands, right? Or like mana base. They are your mana base. But when you put them down, you're able to turn them sideways to pay for things like when you attack. But they also have abilities on them called enhances or responses or whatever that you can use to either buff your own things that you're trying to do or debuff your opponent, right? So it's this constant push and pull, and it gives you more ability to, influence what is happening in the game and really like play into your opponent. Every card also has a block value. So as you see in the top right corner, Fast Friendship is a high block for 3, adds 3 on. It doesn't block 3, but it adds, and we'll talk about that maybe in a later video. It can block a high attack, right? Or it can partial block a mid attack. Then you have Botan's Coaching, which blocks a mid, or it can partial block a high or a low, since it's one spot off of both. And then even Dagger, you can even block with your own attacks. This is a low block, as you can see. So you can use your cards for mana, you can use your attack cards to attack with, and you can use every card to block with, right? And it creates this multi-layered game system that has a lot of diversity, a lot of play into your opponent, and a lot of cool elements that really just scratch the itch of a lot of different things. It's not simply, draw your top deck, throw your land down, play your card, attack, maybe play an instant or two or something. That might be the craziest thing ever. But this isn't a stack-based game necessarily. It works a lot off the enhances of your foundations and being able to buff and debuff your stuff, buff your stuff and debuff your opponent as the string of attacks are going on. And very similar to a fighting game, you try to get these long string of combos, right, going off and off that play off of each other and get stronger and stronger as the attack string goes on. But if you overextend too much and you give your opponent the ability to counterattack you, just like in a fighting game like Smash Brothers or Tekken or whatever have you, then you can pay for it. So it's very different than any card game on the market. It's been around for a long time, the system has, which is what people don't realize. But if you're looking for something that's not like Magic, not like Flesh and Blood, not like whatever the case may be, you're trying to look for something that's truly different but also enjoyable, this is something for you. I definitely can go more into the mechanics later. But I think that the mechanics is what sold me from day one, honestly. The next one for me is the characters. So in hero-based or character-based or whatever you want to call it, like singular person-based card games, whether it's Commander and Magic, right? Whether it's Flesh and Blood, whether it's even Digimon, a lot of card games base around a character, can base around a hero or a contender like an Alpha Clash. But The one thing that UniVersus collectible card game does that is insane compared to every other game is the characters. Not only do characters have different abilities and different feels and different hand sizes, different health, different powers, which is really cool. The theme of the character, you really feel like you're playing the character, which is so awesome as they're going into these different collaborations and different IPs, which we'll talk about here in a second. You're able to really embody the character that you're playing that you know and love. Like, for example, as you can see here on the left, Endeavor. When you play Endeavor in the My Hero sets of the UniVersus collectible card game, you feel like you're playing Endeavor. You have these burn mechanics, these mill mechanics, is almost like damaging yourself to empower yourself, right? Just like Endeavor does in the show. Then you have Godzilla, who does these crazy things where, it's just big, huge attack that can do a lot of damage. You have things like Edge Shot, who does some really cool stuff on both axes, just like in the card game, just like in the show. And even from the Yu Yu Hakusho, like Kurama, all of these heroes and all these, characters really embody what those characters are in their selective IPs or their selective shows, whatever the case may be. So you get the competitive itch of these different abilities, different things, different stuff going on, but you also get the thematic itch, right? You really feel like you're playing your character and you get a little bit more ownership of your character. And if you're watching from Flesh and Blood, I have to say it out loud because that's where most of my community is. It's very similar to that. And honestly, and this isn't a knock on Flesh and Blood at all, they do it even better than Flesh and Blood does it, where you feel like you're the embodiment of your character, especially if you recognize that IP and you know what that character did in that selective show or series. It really helps you to be able to enjoy it that much more. So the characters feel like the characters when you're playing them. Like you can feel the theme through the cards that you're playing because they make very specific cards that embody those characters' styles in the actual IPs. So that's another thing for me. The third out of fifth, is the collaboration. So UniVersus recently rebranded. I think as I'm looking at the article, which I'll pull up here in a second, it was a while back, not too far ago, but it was a good amount back. So this past year, they basically rebranded and they went to UVS Games. They want to go back to the old school UniVersus feel with these collaborations, different IPs, and really hit what made the game great in the first place. And not that the game was in a bad space, because it wasn't. But the last couple of years, they've really focused on the My Hero Academia IP, and all the cards have been based off that in the standard format, in their normal competitive format. But now they're coming back out with stuff as you can see on here, Trigun Stampede Challenger Series decks. They're doing, as you can see on the left, a collaboration with Critical Role. They have upcoming sets coming out for Godzilla, for Attack on Titan. They also just released a Cowboy Bebop stuff, and now they just released a full set for Yu Yu Hakusho as well. They're doing a lot of cool collaborations. So the base reason I think you should be interested is if you like constantly different themes and sets, if you love these things like Trigun Stampede, if you're a Trigun Stampede fan, then it's just a double bonus, right? But even if you've never watched the show, and even if you've never watched Critical Role or anything like that, you get these constantly different themes and archetypes in every release that just keep the game fresh, right? Not only do they change abilities and they change stuff like that for the competitive players, but they also change these themes. And the reason I love it kind of goes back to the characters feel like the characters is this is the only card game I have played consistently. Other card games have done this every now and then, but every character where I don't care what character I'm playing because the themes change so much and so many things are different about the game. I truly don't care if I'm playing a D tier character or an A tier character. It doesn't matter because the themes are so awesome and they constantly change and they're constantly different. So if you're looking for something that's always fresh, always different, gives you a reason to come back and buy a new product, whether that's the entry level or not entry level, they're really the sealed level products like the Challenger series, or whether you're buying boxes or what the case may be. This is going to keep you coming back and keep it fresh, which I really, really, really enjoy. So hopefully that makes sense as well. Then we kind of get into the fourth reason. The fourth reason for me, as I pull it up here, is what we kind of just hinted to in the prior reason, which is the rebranding and kind of the restatement of them to be able to, do different things in the game. Like I said, the last few years it's been really about My Hero Academia, but they just recently launched a announcement saying, they want to go back. They're proud to announce UVS games where they care about the UniVersus collectible card game, where they care about the players. Players across the globe come together each week to play their game. Their origin story started in 2006. Like I said, they've been around for a while. And they're really trying to get back to their roots with, their branding, their style, their collaborations, everything. So you have a company that is listening. And even this past week, they had, a little bit of, they had some organized play announcements that people were not happy about, and they immediately made the changes. And they were like, you know what, you're right. This doesn't make sense. We're going to make the changes. We're going to revert to what you all want. They're a company that's very active right now, very much wanting to stick to what their heritage was, as you see here, staying true to their heritage, true to where they were before. And in card games, the reason it's so important is because a lot of games can get stale. And this company's been around for almost 2 decades now, which in card games is eons, right? And for them to come out and do this drastic of a rebranding, they changed the UI on their cards, made it look better. They're changing, some of their mechanics to where it's more balanced. They're constantly coming out with new collaborations. For a company to be this invigorated and this much wanting to change right off the bat, that's really cool to see. And it's something you don't see with card game companies that have only been out like 3 or 4 years, much less 17, right? So it's definitely something not perfect like every game company, but they're making the effort. And for me, people like Alpha Clash, like you've heard me on the channel before talk about when I see devs and when I see staff really making an effort at the lowest possible level to be there, right? So I definitely think that that's something that you all should pay attention to. Then the 5th reason, and this is one I'm not going to show on screen. It's more of a kind of a tangible reason why I think it's really cool, is one of the barriers to entry with new card games is your local scene, right? Like Alpha Clash is another game I'm trying like heck to grow in my local scene, but sometimes you still have the player base, right? So you're sitting there and you're, even with the star level product, as I bring it back up here, even with the star level product, you're like, okay, I'll buy the 2 Trigun Stampede decks, right? They're $30 each, but I spent $60, and unless I find a friend to play with, like, what's the point, right? And even after I play with my friend a bunch of times, like, it's going to get stale fast because I want a local scene. I want to be able to play in weekly locals. I want to have a chance to win cool promos, right? Even if you're not a highly tier competitive player, you want that scene to be able to do that. The one thing that UniVersus does really cool is you want a local scene, of course, and try to build it, but even if you don't have one, you still can play in weekly locals. They have the weekly webcam Wednesdays on their Discord where you can sign up and play webcam events. There's another event called Unfun Fridays, which is similar. It's just like a weekly thing. And those events, and then they also have webcam regional events, things like that. So they have competitive tier events to help you get to regionals and stuff like that. But they also have basically equivalent to your weekly locals in their Discord, and you're able to win promos. You're able to get packs sent to you if you win, like just how you would if you went. You know how you go into a local game store, you go 2-1 in your 3 rounds, you win 2 packs and get a cool promo, and you leave, right, and you have a good fun time. These same people do that online through their Discord, and they organize this, and it's very consistent. And the cool thing about UniVersus is you get like basically points onto your profile every time you participate in an event, but also if you win, you get extra ones. You can use those points to cash them in to get promos sent directly to your house for each set. There's a set of promos, and these promos then go to your house after you purchase them with your channel points or your profile points. So definitely check that out. I think it's a really cool game to get into. It's not super expensive to get into. The community is really, really fun, really has a lot of passion behind it. And I think it's a card game, especially in the past year, they're really making an effort to bring it back to the glory of what UniVersus was. It never went down too much, but it's definitely reinvigorated in the past year. So definitely give it a try. Hopefully this made sense. Again, I tried to keep this generalistic and just try to give you wave top points. If you want me to go more specific on any one point, please let me know, right? I was trying my best to go in depth while also having it still make sense. And if someone wants to go really granular, maybe I can get someone that is really good at explaining those granularities of the mechanics and stuff here on the channel to be able to talk it through you, maybe on a live stream. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, again, feel free to check out my other content. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. Feel free to comment, or subscribe. If not, it's completely fine though. go to another creator in one of these games that I cover. Type in My Hero Academia content or, UniVersus content or Flesh and Blood or Alpha Clash or whatever. Find a creator that you like. Leave a like, comment, subscribe on their stuff so we can get more people playing trading card games. I want to be able to, on this channel, give people access to a lot of different games, a lot of information on a lot of different games. It's kind of what I'm hoping to kind of mold the channel into over the course of this year. And hopefully you all enjoy it. But thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good day. Stay safe. And I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk.